Check out FlipsideGaming.com for all your gaming needs. Use the promo code HEROES to save 10% on all orders over $10 and support the channel at the same time. Hey there, it's John from Heroes and Legends, and today we have our first Ixalan Prerelease pack we're going to open up. So we're going to open this up, see what we get in here, and then we're also going to make a sealed deck out of the contents. So it'll be kind of a sealed deck tech as well as a pack opening. So I got two of these actually. I'm going to open another one on the channel a little bit later in the week. And this one though, came with a little bit of a hole in the cellophane, but I don't think it was big enough for anyone to be able to reach in or anything. So we'll see. I don't want to spoil our card yet, our preview card. So if you didn't go to the pre-release, you've never seen these products, basically, you open this up, you're going to get a spin down die. We got a green one here. You're also going to get this sheet, which is, I mean, it's very small, obviously. They try to give you a few tips about building a sealed deck here. And there's usually some sort of lore, lore or some sort of like flavor around it too. You see that on the other side, which is cool. And then you get your packs. Oh, unfortunately, our foil card is a double-sided card, so I just saw what it was. But it's a good card, so that's cool. You get a divider, which is cool for dividing your deck from your sideboard in the box, because this will work. Even though it's flimsy, it's cardboard, this will be a card box for you, at least for the event, if nothing else. So that's kind of good. So they give you actually a nice divider, and then of course you get your 6 packs, as well as your foil premium card, which is a promo card that's date stamped. And we got Vance's Blasting Cannon, so it's actually pretty sweet. It's of course a transform card, so here on the other side we have Spitfire Bastion, so it's actually a pretty nice one. Happy with that. So you can build a deck out of your 6 packs as well as that card, so we can use that in our deck construction. So let's go ahead and open up and see what we get here with pack 1. And I'll kind of thumb through the commons so you can kind of see them, since we will be building a deck, but we'll slow down a little bit with the uncommons and rare. Dusk Legion Dreadnought is the first one, first uncommon. Dark Nourishment, Bellowing Aegiosaur. Our rare is Sword Point Diplomacy. Okay, so there's pack 1. Pack number 2. So sometimes you get a good hit in here. Of course, there's no masterpieces in this set, so yeah, mythics though. We're looking for some good mythics, some good bombs if we're going to build a deck with. I mean, so far nothing in that first pack has me going in a certain direction. Elaborate Fire Cannon, Rigging Runner, Unclaimed Territory, and our rare is Sanguine Sacrament. Okay, so a way to gain a lot of life. If we get some life payouts, maybe that's something to watch for in the next few packs. The card on its own isn't super great unless you probably have some reason for using for using the actual life gain. All right, our first uncommon, Navigator's Rune, Ruthless Knave, Raging Sword Tooth, and our rare is a Daring Saboteur. A pretty good card. It's not a bomb that's going to win you the game, but it's a pretty good rare. And then, of course, we get a foil Bishop of the Bloodstained. It's an uncommon. Okay. So it'd be nice to get, like, I got 3 more packs here. It'd be nice to get kind of like a bomb to sort of point us in a direction. Of course, just because you get a bomb, though, doesn't mean that's the direction you definitely want to go in. If it doesn't, if it's not supported by your card pool, it might not be a good idea to do that. But we'll see. We get another Elaborate Fire Cannon. Trove of Temptation. Marauding Looter. And our rare is Anguth's Marauders. Okay. So this one's interesting. I mean, if a source you control would deal damage to a permanent or player, it deals double that damage to that permanent or player instead. This is something we might be able to build around at least. 2 more packs. And we got our foil card, which is also a very good red card, so who knows. Alright, we get a Field of Ruin, Dinosaur Stampede, Emissary of Sunrise. Our rare is a Fell Flagship. Okay, so that works with pirates, something to think about as we go forward. Alright, last pack. Doesn't want to open for me for some reason. All right, we have a Grim Captain's Call, River Sneak, Savage Stomp, and our rare is Verdant Sun's Avatar, another card that we could actually build around perhaps. So what I'm going to do is pause the video and put these in color order, and we'll come back and start thinking about how to assemble our deck. Alright, we're back. I put everything in color order. So the first thing I do is go through, get a feel for my colors. I'm going to take out anything that feels more like a sideboard card that I wouldn't want to main deck. So let's start with whites. This is a fine card. Hammerskull is great. I mean, great aggro card. Target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. If it's a vampire, they get first strike. I mean, it's a fine combat trick. Sanguine Sacrament, if we have something to do with the life, like I said, but I don't think I really saw a payout for life when we were opening our packs, so I don't know if I'm going to run that or not. Another Hammerskull, that's actually pretty good. I really like Explorer, so an Explorer Vigilance creature for 5 I feel pretty good with. Another Hammerskull, so this could be a pretty aggro build here if we go in this direction. Some vampires, a big old blocker, another Explorer card, which I'm just fine with. I'm probably not going to play this unless, again, I find a life payout or my opponent's playing something more aggro. So I'm going to put that aside for right now. And a couple of flyers and destroy target creature, power 4 graders. Excellent. So, yeah, white doesn't look bad. I mean, it's a little thin, but it doesn't look bad at all. So now we have a lot of blue. And I like the Windstriders. They're good, but I have noticed when I played with them so far, I am a little underwhelmed. I liked Flash, but I almost feel like I want them to be 3/4. A lot of times I flash them in and they just trade. So, I don't know. They're okay, though. Spell Pierce is awesome in Constructed as far as limited goes. Counter target non-creature spell, that actually can be relevant when it comes to removal spells and stuff. So running a 1-of might not be the wrong thing most of the time. I actually am okay with this particular aura. I usually am not a big fan of auras, but this one's so cheap, I feel like if you strike at the right time, it can be good. This is going to be good if you have Enters the Battlefield effects, so we'll hang on to that. Here's a flyer with Explorer. I like the Daring Saboteur. Not a bad color either. This is like the Mill Pirate, I guess. So that's not, or the Mill Enchantment. So it can repeatedly mill, but yeah, it does take a little bit of setup. You do have to have lines of attack, so you probably want to have some unblockable creatures. We do have the Saboteur, so we'll keep that in mind anyway. 2/5 vanilla, okay. Return target creature to its owner's hand, make treasure. Now, keep in mind, treasure cards, they're great as long as you have a reason to actually get treasure. So you want to make sure you have something you're ramping into or something to do with those treasure. If you don't necessarily need to play cards just for treasure. Okay, we got another vanilla, another one of the flyers, another one of these, another one of the flyers, another Spell Pierce. This can be good in like a Merfolk deck. Here's another creature that can't be blocked, so that's worth keeping in mind. And the Cancel is just fine, and another one of these. So blue looks okay. Like, there's some flyers here. There's definitely a strategy. It actually doesn't look bad. So we'll see what happens with blue. I'm just going to put it aside for a moment. Let's look at the black cards that we have here. Not a big fan of Sword Point Diplomacy. This is good because it is removal. I do like Costly Plunder. Like, running one of those I think is good. This is a fine 2-drop. Actually, it's a great 2-drop. Here's a Menace Explorer creature. Another good 2-drop. Actually, have a pretty good pool here. Good with vampires. I mean, I didn't see an abundance of vampires or great vampires in white. So this is still a fine card, though, even if you have a few vampires. Here's something to do with treasures. So that's interesting. Another one of these. This can be okay, again, if you have a life payout especially. I probably don't want to run 2 of these, so I'm going to put one of these aside just for now. Spreading Rot, this is more of a sideboard card for me. I like to play this if my opponent's getting greedy on land or they have a problematic non-basic. Queen's Agent's very good. Here's another one of these. And Raid, discard. That was not super exciting. I mean, it's playable if you need a 3-drop. And this could be okay in the right deck. And these actually have been pretty good. They're good against dinosaurs. So, okay, black, maybe not as exciting as the first 2 colors. Let's see what we got in red. Now, Sun Crowned Hunters is a fine beater with Enraged. It can also do damage. So yeah, this is a great card to play for limited purposes. This is a first striker 1/1 that sometimes can be a 2/2 for 1. That's playable. These are okay too. Again, you want to pick your moments when you use these so you don't get 2 for 1 right away, but they're good. Oh, we got another one of these. So this is shaping up to be a pretty decent color too. Yep, I play 2 of those sometimes. This one's okay. It's a good 2-drop. I mean, it's a bear with upside. We saw this earlier. This card is actually very good and is able to maybe push across a lot of extra damage. This is only good if we have a good payout for treasure, I think. So I'm going to put this one aside because I haven't really seen a great payout. We do have that one that can convert treasure to card draw, but we won't forget about that. But I'm going to put it aside for right now. This is good. Direct damage. You're happy to have it. Good if we go wide. Good with dinosaurs, which we do have a couple of. Another direct damage spell that's very good. Another direct damage spell, very good. That card's good, and this card I definitely want to play with because I think this could be actually super sweet. So red I really like. So far my favorites are probably white and red. Let's look at green. This card's fine, and another dinosaur, fine. This is good with Merfolk. I haven't seen a whole lot going on with Merfolk. Pounce is fantastic. And this one, 2/2 hexproof for 4. Enters the battlefield, put +1/+1 counter on target Merfolk. So it can be this one. So it's actually a 3/3, say, for 4 hexproof. That's actually not bad. This can be good too. And we saw earlier the Verdant Sun's Avatar. That can be really strong as well. We got a 6/6 trample for 6, and these are great too. So, okay, I think I will say my favorite colors so far are probably red and green, but I really like white, so maybe we can splash some white. This is great too, and it's in the colors we want. Raging Sawtooth. The Looter's really good as well. I don't know if I want to actually like try to splash another color and go into blue for it though, but okay, we'll remember it's there. This is okay. It's playable if we need it. I don't really think we need this type of thing in this deck. I don't really think we can afford to discard too much or have a reason to discard too much either, so I don't know about these cannons. Pirates, I don't know if we're going to play enough pirates for that to matter, but we'll remember they're there. And then, of course, we got a little bit of fixing here with these lands. Okay, so let's do this then. If I were to set up a situation, perfect situation, and I'll say this first. I mean, there's a lot of ways you can go with this particular deck, so if you don't think you would do the same thing I do, I mean, don't feel bad about that, because some of it is just your comfort with cards and what you like to play with and what style you like to play, and some people are going to do better playing with the style that they're comfortable with. So what I picked today isn't necessarily what maybe you would pick out of this particular pre-release kit, but this is just kind of my personal preference and my experience so far playing that I'm going by. So, but there's no right or wrong answer to this. I'm going to say this: the blue's good, but I don't feel like there's anything in here that's better than we saw in some of the other colors, or anything that I really feel we need to splash for. There's a good strategy here, and like I said, you wouldn't be wrong if you wanted to go ahead and make blue your prime color and try to maybe go more flyers or something like that, but I'm going to put it aside. Black, same thing. I mean, I like a little bit that we see here. I mean, there's actually some really good 2-drops. There's something to do with treasure chests. I like Death Touch. There's some good cards here. So this is a overall just good pool. I definitely want to keep these colors. And white, let's look at that white now. I want to just splash. I think I want to splash these Territorial Hammer Skulls, because whenever this attacks, you get to tap target creature and opponent controls. You just get extra damage across. And so they're really reasonable for 3. They're 2 3s on their own. So I think maybe I'm just splashing those in. There's some other decent cards here, definitely, but I don't want to get too crazy if white's going to be our splash, especially considering green's a little lean too, so that might make our mana pool a little tight at times for colors. So this is where we're starting. And we have, let's count up how many cards we have now for playables. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. So we probably want to cut down about 3 cards. So what I'm going to do, our next step is I'm going to put these in order of casting cost and separate the creatures from the other spells. And we'll count up and see what we have, and that's going to help us make our cut. So I'm going to pause the video again while I do that, and I'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. So I just divided everything out, and here's what I decided to do. I think this is actually a pretty good build. It's a little higher on the mana curve than I'm typically comfortable with. Usually I don't like to have this many cards at the 6/7 spot. Everything else, though, feels super economical, and even though we don't have any ramp to lean on, and even though we don't have like treasure creation or anything like that in here, I feel like we could be okay as long as maybe we run 18 lands. So I think that's my plan here. I'm going to go with 18 lands, 22 spells. I have 15 creatures, so I don't want to lose any creatures, especially considering a couple of our removal spells are creature dependent. They're fight mechanics, so I don't want to get too lax there. So I'm going to keep those creatures, which means I do have to cut 4 of the non-creature spells. So let's look at what we got so far. Quickly with the creatures, we got our 1-drop. Nothing exciting. It's a 1-drop that maybe keeps us alive a little bit early in the game. We have 3 bears with upside at the 2 spot. Actually, good 2-drops. I usually like to have more 2-drops, but I do have some non-creature spells at 2, so hopefully that will make up for it a little bit. We have these 3-drops that are going to help us go aggro a little bit with these. Of course, his can require a little bit of a white splash, but we'll get there. And the Ravenous Daggertooth, I think this actually could help us regain some life at times if we get beat down a little bit early on in the game, if we're up against an aggro build, because we can't react super fast to that. We have a 4-drop. It's our only 4-drop creature. It's a very serviceable one. This is a great 5-drop, especially with our other Enrage abilities that are coming up. So great creature. These 5-drops are good. I mean, I usually start to get a little bit, or 6-drops, I'm sorry, these 6-drops are good. I usually start to get a little nervous and I start talking about 3 6-drops. Usually I probably cut 1, but these have great payoffs, I think, for our deck. And again, if we go 18 land, I think we're going to be okay here. And then finally, we have 2 7-drops. Again, a little bit aggressive on the higher end of the curve than I'm used to. If you watch my videos before, I try to go lean, but these have awesome payoffs and can be win conditions under some circumstances. So these are great if we can get there alive. Okay, so now what are we going to cut? Well, let's look at each pile. Let's start with our 2 spots. The first 2 that jump to mind, I don't think we need 2 Swashbuckling. It's a cool card, but I think 2 is maybe a little overkill. I'm going to cut that. We're going to also cut this because we really don't have that many Merfolk. This is more for a deck that really has small creatures with like unblockable effects or evasion, flying, and such. And we have big creatures. Like, we don't need to make them 1 point bigger necessarily. That's not what we're here to do. So I'm going to take that out. We're left with a Pounce, which is awesome. We're not going to get rid of any removal. We're keeping all the removal. And 1 Swashbuckling, which I think could be good under certain circumstances to speed things up. Okay, let's get into the 3 spots. And we have a few things here. I think I can reluctantly cut Crash the Ramparts. This is a good card. I usually would play it, but I think since I have to go leaner, I rather cut this as opposed to a more straightforward removal spell. So I'm going to lose the combat trick there, but it's a good one. I typically want to do that. There's another card I like to run, Dinosaur Stampede, I think would be great. But again, it's a little conditional on what else is going on the board state. Not good if we're behind, so I'm going to go ahead and cut it because I think we got better stuff. We got Fire Cannon Blast, 2 of them. They're definitely staying. Great removal. And a Savage Stomp is awesome removal, so that's sticking around. Okay, last couple cards. Again, Unfriendly Fire staying. It's removal. And this is a card engine. It's the only like card draw spell we have, so I want to at least have 1 at all times. So this is going to definitely cut it. And also this backside is great too for our deck. It actually works out with what we're trying to do. So it's perfect. And that foil looks super sweet. How can we not play that? So look at that thing. All right, so I think we got our deck. That should be 22. Let's flip through these, make sure it is 22. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Okay. We know we have 3 white cards. How many red do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That counts as both. So I'll say 9, 10, 11, and 12. And green is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So it actually came out closer than I thought it would when I was originally building the deck. So we're real close with red and green. Let's talk about mana fixing. We have some options here, and we'll start off with these. This is great. You just play this, say Dinosaur, and call it a day. That's perfect. So okay, we have room for 17 more lands. We'll play this. It's not great, but I switched those. I'm sorry. That's what I get for going too fast. This is the one that you're probably like, what is he talking about? This is the one that I definitely would play. Let's call Dinosaurs, and we will just say, yeah, this will be perfect fixing. This is usually going to give us white mana. This card, not super excited about, but it's playable to filter my mana, so I'm going to do it. It's just another white source, basically. Field of Ruin, I like it, but it's a little contingent upon my opponent having something to target, because I can't target my own stuff with it or anything like that. So that becomes a tad bit awkward. Like, you can't even like sacrifice itself because you have to sacrifice it. So I don't think I'm going to take the risk on this one. I like the cards. Definitely a possible sideboard option in certain situations, but I think I'd rather just play a Plains and just have a almost surefire shot at hitting the land drop. So what I'll do between these 3 cards and a Plains, it gives me 3 white sources. I think that should be good enough. So that would leave us with 15 more land spots. So, I mean, we could do 1 more Plains if we felt like that wouldn't burn us, considering those are 3 drops. So maybe I would do that, or at least try that. So that would be 2 Plains. These 2 cards here leaves us with 14 lands. Maybe 7 of each would be okay. I wouldn't want to go 6 and 8. I think that would be a little too tight on green, so I think 7 and 7 is just fine. And that's our deck, and yeah, I kind of like it. Now, this was a good pool. I mean, I think you could have gone a lot of other directions with this one. Like you saw, the blue looked good, the black did not look bad at all, and white was pretty decent. I mean, we ended up splashing the best white, but there was a lot of ways you could go with this pool. You didn't have to go this way, I don't think, and I don't think that would be wrong necessarily or anything like that. It's just my play style and cards that I kind of want to try and build with. So I hope this video, at least if nothing else, helps you see my process and helps you learn from that, because this is what it's about. It's about the process. It's not about agreeing with what I play or what I don't play. It's really about seeing how I come to those conclusions to hopefully help you make good decisions when you're building your sealed deck out of your pool and have a good process to go to. So with that being said, that's it for today. Until next time, hey, thanks for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, and have a great day. Hey, thanks for watching. This video is made possible by the generous support of viewers like you on Patreon. Check out the description below for links to our Patreon page as well as our Amazon affiliate store, where a small percentage of all sales will also help support the channel. Finally, if you haven't had a chance yet to subscribe, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any new videos on Heroes and Legends. Talk to you again soon, and have a great day.